Hey, we're Kayli and Logan and we live in our van with our cat, Big Chungus. Join us on here as we document our journey as we travel all over the United States. Hi, welcome to our van tour. This is the first YouTube video that we have done. So things might be a little shaky, autofocusing, still working on that. But we go over the whole build and this took us about a year to make. So this is pretty much it. Van isn't completely 100% clean, but that's kind of how it usually is. So let me know if you have any questions and I hope you enjoy. Okay, here is a main view of the van. And then we'll kind of go into more detail with each part of it. Okay, so this is the main area. As soon as you walk in, we have a mirror up there. And then down here we have the bench, which has our bathroom below it. And then down over there is Big Chungus's feeder. And then behind there we store our table and laundry basket. This is the space underneath that bench. This is our composting toilet. On the side of the bench right here we have this mesh pocket, and this is where we store Big Chungus's harness and her leash and her collar. On the side of each of the drawers, this is how we keep them locked when we drive. We have this little L-shaped kind of screw. I put a magnet there so that when we're not using it, it just sits right there so it doesn't get lost. But pretty much we have a hole that's drilled through the side of the cabinet and the drawer itself. So anytime we're about to drive, we just put this back in place and then it stays there with the magnet. We do have one of these for each of our drawers. As you can see, we did a lot of trial and error with other things, trying to figure out what would work for latches and what wouldn't rattle. And this is the only thing that we found that would work and didn't rattle. Up top here, we have a little shelf that holds a plant that is thankfully still alive. And we also have two other plants over here. For the kitchen area over here, we have these shelves that were actually not a part of the original plan, but they are very helpful in holding our hot sauces all down here, our spices. But to be honest, we don't even use some of the stuff that's in these jars, but overall the shelves are very nice to have. So down here on the counter, this is our WeBoost. This is a extender for our signal on our phones. And this is another part of it right here. And it actually works off the antenna that's on the back of our van. Okay, so then above these shelves, we have our dry food storage. We jam pack a lot of food in there. So we have that one, and then this one, and it's where we store just a couple of our other dishes. Over in this corner over here, we have our Simply Safe base station. We have our carbon monoxide alarm. We have our Propex thermostat. We have our Simply Safe, what is that, the touchpad. We have all of our light switches. And then we have this temperature station, if you can see that back there. And then this last sensor up here, that actually controls our inverter. Below the counter, we have these three drawers. And then on the other side, we have our trash and laundry. And then I'll show you what those look like in between. So the top drawer is where we keep all of our kitchen stuff. And it looks a little chaotic right now. Oops, open scissors. But we actually have a bunch of these little organizers, which kind of work with keeping stuff organized. But we put a lot of stuff in there. The second drawer is where we keep all of our personal items like bath stuff. And as you can see, we also have these organizers in here as well. And this one is not as full, but that's pretty much all of our bath stuff, shower stuff, just all right in there. The last drawer is dry food, and this one is absolutely packed. And this is our biggest drawer. In the trash and laundry area, we did not use the same type of latches that we used with the drawers. We used a ponytail that is secured by 2 screws, and we have one on each side, so we have one right there and we have one over there. And since this isn't a super heavy drawer, it actually works pretty well. In this drawer we have our trash, which is that one, and then we have 2 laundry bins. And these laundry bins last us about 1 week before we end up having to do a full set of laundry. Down below the trash and laundry is Big Chungus's litter box setup. It's just a regular litter box down there. And that little gray bag next to it is a charcoal bag to help absorb any smell. Then over here we have our fridge and freezer combo. So down here we have our latch so that this doesn't come flying towards us. And that just clips off here. And then we move that down, and then the whole fridge can slide all the way out. The first compartment is the freezer. It has 2 sections. This part lifts up, and then we have the other stuff below. Next we have the fridge, and it has a lot of room, but everything stacks on each other, so to get the stuff out from the bottom is a little difficult. We like to collect magnets from places that we've gone on our travels, so that's kind of what we have on here so far. My personal favorite is this one that we got from Portland. And we have more storage underneath here. This is a compartment that goes all the way to the back, and it's where we store our screen shades. This was added last minute because after we went on kind of like a test run with the van, we realized we did not have anywhere to put those. We have some extra storage down here. This is where we store our extra toilet paper, our paper towels, the litter scoop, the litter. We have a fire extinguisher back there. And this is also where our water pump is housed. It might be difficult to see, but that's actually one of the hoses for it, and it's kind of way back there. The switch for the water pump is right above that door. Above that area, we have this mesh compartment. The reason that it's covered in mesh is so that our cat wouldn't get in here and then back to the depths of the back of the van. So this just opens up, and we just store like our vacuum back here and like small things that we don't need to access every single day. The van also has a lot of wear and tear already. There's paint missing on multiple spots. That's what most of that is. So it's not looking as nice as it did right when we built it. Here we have this sink area, and our sink originally was not set up like this. We had a small kind of farmhouse looking sink, and we realized that that would be super difficult to do dishes in, so we traded it out for this stainless steel. It's a lot deeper, which is really nice, and so that's why our sink is on the side, because it didn't fit in the original spot that it was gonna go. But our faucet, that's our faucet. So we have full water power. I don't want to waste a bunch of water here, but that works like that. It's a little wobbly. We need to fix that. She enjoys snacking with whatever remnants are left in the sink and licking the faucet. Over here we have our hand soap, which is Velcroed. And that goes right there. A lot of this stuff is stuck down by Velcro. Oh, that's nice, Big Chungus. And then we actually did not intend on putting this soap in here. A plant used to be there, but it died. And we use Blue Land dish soap, and we really, really like it. It works a lot, especially since we only have cold water in our sink. So sometimes getting food particles off without having hot water can be difficult, but honestly, that soap makes it really easy. And next we have our stove. We have a Dometic 2-burner propane stove. It honestly works really well. We really like it, and it fit nicely on our countertop. So under the sink, we have all of these spices. As you can tell, one is missing. It did fall, but it'll get put back up there. So all of these are attached by 2 really strong magnets, and this was not our first plan. We originally had kind of those sheets of metal that you can use as spice racks, and they flew everywhere. They were always clanking into each other. It was super annoying, so that's why we switched to the single magnets. Up here in our top cabinet, we have all of our dishes. We've got our plates and our bowls and our pots and our pans and our teapot and our mug and some of our reusable grocery bags. And everything is separated with this rubber grip stuff so that it does not clank into each other when we drive, and so that it specifically does not fly out of here when we open the door. Above our sliding door, we have this map that we started to fill in with our spots that we've stayed, and it's been about a month since we filled it in, so we're a little behind. We have more of these magnetic hooks where we hang our hats, masks. Hanging right there is a towel from a shower earlier, but we really like these hooks. We use them everywhere. Up front in the headliner of the van, we have like this weird storage space, which stuff usually stays on there unless we come to like a screeching halt and then it smacks you in the head. But for the most part, we have it secured in its proper spot. But I have like my makeup bag there and some pens. We just have some random stuff in here. These are all our electrical cords, just kind of random space. Underneath the sink on the right side, so this door has a lot going on. We've got some medicine, and we have this little organizer that we could just kind of keep some soap and tinfoil and plastic bags, stuff like that. Underneath the sink, there's a lot going on here, but this is our gray water tank. It is 5 gallons. It goes directly from our sink to the tank, and she wants to climb back there. In the space next to the gray water tank, we have a soup pot, and below that, that's our Propex heater. In the winter, we're not going to keep the soup pot there because I don't know if that's safe. Probably not. And then the heater is actually vented 2 directions. If you can see that, it goes out that way and out underneath here to the floor. This is a short look at some of our propane connections. That's our propane box that's back there. It's completely sealed and vented through the bottom of the van. Oh, and back there is our water filter. We did add a filter into our system, and it's pretty nice. I like how we don't have to like move the water to a filter. Here is the other door. This has got a lot going on it as well. Those are some of our extra dish towels, as well as a second monitor. And then over here is our medicine cabinet that we kind of stuck to the wall using elastic. And then that is the second kind of escape for the heater, where the heat goes through that vent. And that's where our paper towel holder is. This little button right here is how we turn the propane on and off. Over here above the bed, we have a bookshelf, a reading lamp, and then another mesh pocket that's attached to the wall. And then we have our little cork board with some Polaroids. As far as ventilation goes, we have 2 Max Air fans, one above the kitchen and then one above the bed. And we really like having 2 because we can have the air get pulled through one of them and pushed out of them, and it creates a really good airflow. This little thing up here is our smoke detector. It definitely works, as it goes off nearly every time that we cook. So for closet space, this whole unit here is closet. The left half is mine and the right half is Logan's. So each of these open up, and we have these mesh pockets again underneath there for socks, and then all of our clothes fold up underneath there. And underneath these doors, there's actually a lot more space back there than probably you can even see. But that's where we keep all our shoes. We have these baskets that we put underneath there for shoes and hats and towels. Kind of our miscellaneous items go underneath there. For the bed setup, the way that it's looking right now, this is not how we sleep in it as is. This giant, what looks like a pillow, is actually a mattress extender. So Logan is too tall and could not sleep widthwise, and we didn't want to take up counter space by making the bed all the way to practically like right here. So we cut the mattress into, I would say that's like a third off of it. We pretty much just have to swing that around every night and it just sits over the countertop. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like when it's all put together. So the first thing that we do is we take one of our tabletops and kind of looks like that. We just use it as like a desk during the day, but it goes over our sink at night so that our bed cover doesn't fall in the sink. The next thing that we do is we take this giant section of the mattress and it's going to be put across these two countertops. So now that we have the mattress part across both the countertops, we had to attach it so that it doesn't slide backwards when we sleep. So we added these little hooks and they just hook right into this little kind of spot for it to clip on. Since the bed is a little bit higher up, we do have a foldable step stool that we put out each night. And there it is all together. It is not as big as a queen, but it's not necessarily as small as a full because we had to cut off some on each side. So it's just like a little bit smaller. Back over here behind the closet area is where we have just kind of a couple random boxes that I use for storing some things. And we have one of these nice electrical outlets. That's the one that I use to charge my phone at night. And then over here on the other side of the bed, this is the one that Logan uses, but it had to stick out of the wall because the box was too big. On each side of our bed, we have one of these rechargeable kind of little LED lights, which is really nice to have because if we're just going to bed, we just have one on each side. They just have pop on and off, and they can dim as well, which is really nice. So on the sliding door, we have these bug nets. That one is kind of off to the side. And then this is where we have our propane locker and our outdoor shower. This is a vent for the heater. The propane locker has these latches and it holds a 20-gallon propane tank and it's completely vented through the floor of the van. Here's the back of the van. We've got a lot going on over here. So on the side, we put these shoe organizers. We cut them in half and then screwed them to the door, and we hold a lot of stuff there. We have another one on the other side of the door. This was the other half of the shoe organizer. We ended up screwing our bug net into this piece of wood here so that Big Chungus could not escape from it. So that originally was not like that. We have these hooks all over the place and we hang our backpacks on those. Those are really useful. This top area of the right side, this doesn't slide out. This is just a giant storage area. This is where we store our summer gear, and then we switch it out in the winter, and this is where our snowboards and all of our boots and helmets go. They fit all the way back into the kitchen. This is where we keep Big Chungus's backpack and her cat tent, bungeed right in front of our water. The middle section does slide out. It does get hooked when it's not in use, but this one slides all the way out here. That's what it looks like when it's completely slid out. It has 4 bins to just store extra clothes, extra items that we need or don't use all the time. Behind this white door is our water tank. We do have a 30-gallon water tank. It is secured to the van, and that's the drain port. It's insulated, so as you can kind of see right now, we're still pretty full on water. And that's the stopper right up there. And then it has a vent tube, and then the actual plumbing goes up and to the back. In the middle section, this is that same spot where we keep the screen shades, and since there's extra room, we just kind of store some random stuff back there. We keep our backpacks. This tub is seasonal stuff, as well as that big gray tub. That's actually where we switch out and store our snowboard jackets and pants in the winter time. Right now it just kind of has some extra cold gear. On the left side we have our expandable ladder. It is very useful. We store our extra blocks right there, and we use this ladder all the time. We opted not to get one on the outside of our van. This one was a little bit cheaper, well, a lot cheaper, and it works when we need it to. Underneath on the left side, we have this little mesh thing that holds our yoga mats. And this is where all of the electrical system is. So we have our inverter, our switch, our fuse box back there. There's our solar controller and another fuse box. And then our batteries are located under here. But as you can see, only one of them is in use. The one on the right is worthless. It was accidentally undercharged, so we need to get rid of it, but it weighs like 150 pounds. Here's the workstation setup for the driver's side. This lighting is a little weird, but this chair can totally swivel around, and we have a tabletop on a lagoon mount that we can take off and on. Here's what that looks like on the passenger side, the table, and then the lagoon mount that is on the side of the kitchen cabinet. We do have to take this off during the winter because it might be hard to see here, but it is blocking the second air vent. And we do have a second monitor that stays over there. So if we're completely set up and if we both have our chairs swiveled, we do have an option for a second monitor for each of us. Okay, so that's it for the tour. And we will start working on other videos to post on here that we don't post on TikTok. So again, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.